comedian who fell from grace when she took her bloody liberal humor too far is once again in the news. Kathy Griffin made headlines earlier this year when she posted a controversial photo of her holding what looked like the bloody severed head of the President of the United States. While the Secret Service decided that Griffin wasn't a real physical threat to the POTUS, the Americans who hold the democratic election process didn't appreciate the insinuation. Griffin, who had obviously banked on liberal audiences around the world loving her little stunt, was appalled to realize that her dark humor had gone too far, even for them. Maybe it was the negative public opinion, or maybe it was just the desire to get out while they were still ahead. But the liberals and conservatives alike pulled back from Griffin and left her high and dry. While this was a deserving fate, it's easy to see why Griffin wouldn't have suspected it would happen. Every sign so far has led one to believe that there was no insult too harsh a punishment too lethal to dream up that the left wouldn't love to have given to President Trump. However, Griffin, like Hillary, discovered just how loyal the American people can be, and she's now paying the price. According to The Hill, Griffin is afraid for her life if she goes on tour again. Apparently, not only did the domestic tour that she was on at the time get cancelled, but she's been unable to get any other work here in the United States either. Now, despite her constant complaining that she can't find work, she also wants us to know that she thinks she will be shot if she does go out and about. One of the biggest losers of 2017 is unfunny comic and former CNN New Year's Eve hostess Kathy Griffin. The carrot-topped crier all but committed career suicide when images of her holding a bloody replica of President Trump's head went viral. It was as creepy as something out of an ISIS recruitment brochure and came to symbolize the crazed celebrity left of the so-called resistance. Griffin was soon dumped by CNN and the majority of her other sponsors and investigated by the Secret Service. Griffin faced widespread backlash earlier this year after she posted a controversial photo posing with a fake decapitated head resembling President Trump. The president at the time weighed in on the controversy, tweeting that Griffin should be ashamed of herself and that his children were having a hard time with it. Griffin apologized but in the fallout had multiple shows cancelled and was fired as co-host of CNN's New Year's Eve coverage. Griffin told Politico that Trump's Twitter feed is the greatest programming director ever. The minute he tweeted that tweet about me, it was literally breaking news on every channel, she said. She accused Trump of using her as a tool to distract from his bad news of the day. After that, I had to go offline because of the death threats, she said. He didn't use my handle in his tweet, so he didn't have my followers coming after him. Still, she said her answer is to keep producing funny stuff. My YouTube channel is lit. I really do have a real story to tell. In my live act, I talk about the interrogation with the feds and how everybody turned on me on every platform, she said. I still can't tweet a picture of my new puppies without getting all hateful responses in broken English. As it turns out, Griffin is actually very sorry for her picture. It appears that she's sorrier that she's suffering the consequences of it than that she actually simulated the mutilation of the President of the United States, but regardless, she's ready for those consequences to be over now. She is still more than ready to point fingers at Trump's supporters, even though she has no real reason to believe that she will be shot. She seems to just have a feeling about it. Griffin also wants to point the blame at the man who she pretended to kill, President Trump. Apparently in the mind of a liberal, no matter what you do, if they say something you don't appreciate, you're allowed to blame them for saying things you didn't like. According to Politico, the entire incident would have just gone by unnoticed without the president tweeting about it. Griffin blames the change in her status to the president personally driving the outrage machine. "I think it would have been gone in a week without his tweet," she admitted. "Trump knows what would be perceived as something hysterical, and he loves hysteria. There are millions of people who think I'm a member of ISIS to this day." It's unclear whether Griffin is insulting her own following, or overstating President Trump's, but either way, she's not to blame. It's all President Trump's fault. Apparently when someone pretends to kill you, you're not allowed to be upset about it, even if your children are traumatized by it. You're supposed to accept that as your fate for winning against someone that they loved. Liberal Logic 101.